Alright, here we go with the next Yu. This is episode 63, I believe. You didn't see me check. I knew that. It's just mine like a steel trap, right? And, even more amazingly, I checked ahead of time and made sure we're in English. So, there should be nothing to stop us. Let's go ahead and find out. Three, two, one. Shit. What is up with it? Like the captions keep going up and down. I think what happens is when they do 3 lines, that's when it gets screwed up. And I was queuing it up off of 3 lines. I guess we're just going to have to lose that third line if it comes up. I mean, you're supposed to be watching this with me anyway. You're not supposed to be following along with captions, although I know some people do that. That's not the intended use, right? So, but whatever works. I know some people don't have 2 devices, right? Right in the gut. You know, maybe we should try something else. What do you think? Yep, I don't think the light show's gonna work. Yeah, we don't care that he's out of the ring, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. This is to the death. Winner take all. We don't care about no goddamn ring. Oh my god. I'm gonna be talking about this in the podcast. I'm so tired of the bad guy being like, "You're not strong enough. This is boring." Just either the goal is to win. Is the goal to win the fight, or is it? Or are you like some kind of like sexual fighter where it's all about your pleasure? Like I don't understand, man. In this particular case, it may actually. It's kind of geared toward the. It's kind of geared towards like he just fights for the love of the game, right? He fights for the pleasure. Because what is he going to get out of this, right? Like he already got what he wanted the first time he won the tournament. So the problem isn't really this show. It's the other shows where it's like we're trying to defend the king, but also I want to have a non-boring fight. Pick a lane, asshole. Or it's like I'm trying to get the Holy Grail, but also I want to have a non-boring fight. Like pick a lane, asshole. Like it's that simple. Actually, I don't think he's here for fight. I think he's here for his monologue. He has a Unabomber manifesto, and he's going to tell us every single word of it. That's right. Yep, I'm taking it all. Yeah, phrasing. Phrasing. Pause. I guess he just wants to kill everything for the lulls, right? They're not people, they're apparitions. We don't care about any of them. You don't care about any of them. The show doesn't care about any of them. They're killing them en masse, man. Like, we got rocks and energy beams and fire just destroying everybody, man. Nobody cares. These demons, apparitions, they have no champion. They have no dog in the fight. Nobody gives a shit. Kill them all. I'm surprised she didn't get sucked away. Then you shouldn't have come here, man. You should have stayed at home. Surely this is on pay per view. That at least would have been safe, right? Yeah, they should leave. Hey, she's very descriptive. She should get into poetry. How is he legally allowed to call that creature poo? Like, sue this son of a bitch. Everyone must die. Anybody who showed up must die. I'm going to do everything I can to prevent their escape. Every single one. What do you think that is? Originally, how many spectators we have? 50,000? 100,000? Everyone must go. The entire demon population of the multiverse is going to be reduced to nothing because of this. Exactly. Exactly. That is a very high stakes sporting event when literally only the winners survive. At least somebody's got some fight in them, finally. I might have a modicum of respect for these assholes if they would do something. Yeah. I said modicum. Yeah. Look, man, they're not trying to just sit there and die. This really does feel like this is an ideological fight rather than a physical one, because the physical one's over, right? Right. But there's still that many people left. We've had rocks, we've had energy beams, we've had people abandon the stadium, and we've had souls getting sucked out. And there's still that many left. There's a lot. There's got to be 100,000 people in this audience, man. Yeah, yeah. Everybody thinks he sucks now. See, they keep leveling him up. He's like so physically superior that there's no excitement here. Like it's just like he is like 100 times better at fighting than Yusuke. So like, what are we doing here, right? And this show has a habit of that, by the way. He is getting wrecked, man. This ain't the first time I've made that statement here in this series, where it's like the opponent seems so powerful. It's like, well, screw it, right? Yeah. I mean, school might be worse than this. Dude, was he looking up her dress? Are you effing serious? What I mean though is like when the bad guy is like so powerful, like there's literally no chance we can win. Oh, I remember when it was. It was when Yusuke was laying there in the water and he couldn't move or something, and the guy could kill him anytime he wanted to, and he didn't do it. You zone out, man. You just zone out. Like there's no engagement here because there's got both sides have to have at least a small chance to win for you to be invested, right? If there's one criticism of this series I'll make is like they keep repeating that same mistake. You don't need to level this guy up into a 500% super being and Yusuke is still who he is for this to be an exciting fight, right? It actually has a counterproductive. It has the opposite effect. It makes me less interested in the fight. Muscle bound steroid using freak. Because you assume at that point there's got to be some kind of deus ex machina for him to win, right? Yeah, what a dick. Yeah. You're not getting expelled again for the 5th time this week. God damn. Really? Also, I didn't realize they knew each other that far back. I like this. I like that we're actually getting a little bit more of this backstory because, it helps the engagement of the romance to know that they've had this bond for this long, right? They were like this tall when they met each other. A lot of times, then that doesn't even turn into romance when they're that little, right? Because they feel like siblings. Oh shit! I didn't mean to break into your flashback here, but it had to be done. Here's a boot in your ass. Why are you so obsessed with me? His little soul vacuum is kind of an interesting character design. I like that. How strong is he? I would have expected her to be the first one to get sucked up. Oh, okay. Good shit. Bonzer. F him. He doesn't need help. Wait. I thought he grabbed her. I guess it's a figment of Yusuke's imagination. Okay. That starts with you, man. You got to keep your cool first. Yeah. Yeah, you're having a bad day, aren't you? I can see a certain like power fantasy appeal to this. Like if people like are if people like him as opposed to liking Yusuke, he's so strong nobody can mess with him, right? You know, he's strong as hell. Everybody's powerless against. I can kind of see a power fantasy for like teenagers. You know, teenagers watching this. There's certain power fantasy appeal. Darth Vader had that. You know, he's so awesome. Some of the anti-heroes from the 80s and 90s TV shows had that. So that could have part of it, but for the rest of us, it's not narratively interesting if he's so powerful nobody can mess with him. Like nobody, there's nothing anybody can do, right? Like there's nothing narratively interesting about that. Then again, what they seem to be saying is like if he's strongly motivated enough, he can actually kick this dude's ass. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not going to be impressed if he gets like a fifth gear and that's what kills the dude. Yeah. We know it's so boring. You know, yeah, we get it. But if he does some kind of emotional appeal or somehow can pierce his emotional defenses, that would be super interesting. I'd be really impressed. We'll see how it plays out. See, he's smart, man. He knows how to manipulate people. He grew up on the streets. That's a big part of that. I talked myself out of more than one ass whipping growing up. Believe that shit. You got to be able to navigate that crap. Man, I paid 5,000 whatever the hell we use for money just for the privilege of coming here and being killed. I just can't see here in an orchard. What's Pooh think of this? He doesn't really talk, does he? No, he does talk. What the hell? So you're gonna merge and give Yusuke the power he needs. I like that pissed off look on his face, man. That's pretty good. Very determined, very pissed off. I like that look. All right, man. Here's what we gotta do. Now, see, this is a twist I wasn't expecting, dude. Stop commenting. Emotional. Emotional. Of course, Yusuke's never killed anybody, has he? The emotion, man. I knew it. I knew it, man. Because otherwise, this would be some hack shit that would not have been iconic for 30 years. There had to be another layer to this writing, man. Like, I just knew it. Now, can he actually kill somebody, though? That's the question. I don't think he can. I don't think he's. They're just demons. Wait a minute, one of his friends? I thought you said one of Fonzie's friends. What are you talking about? Why would killing one of your friends have any effect on that son bitch? I'm assuming you have to kill like the boss guy, right? Like the better, because he's the only person we know of that has a relationship with Fonzie, right? I guess I misunderstood. She must have been talking to him. I thought she was talking to Yusuke. Okay, okay, now I follow. In other words, what she's saying is the only way to really properly motivate Yusuke is to kill one of his friends. It was always going to be him. They have the longest and strongest love affair. He's way closer to him than anybody else, except his pseudo girlfriend. Yeah. Right. I literally thought she was talking to Yusuke, which meant break out this guy's hidden emotions, which would weaken him, which means you could then fight him, right? That's what I thought was happening. Yeah, look at him. Well, he's motivated now. He wants to protect his boy. But I guess, the death will motivate him even more, right? He is pissed, man. Look, I think it's time the two of you confess your feelings to each other. I'm just saying. It's obvious. Even Stevie Wonder can see it. Well, this is the end of the road, buddy. It was a good run. We had some laughs. Why do you have to be so negative, man? You're an idiot. Yes. Look at it. Really? So I guess those are arms. You're not going to really, cross your tits, are you? So those must be arms, I guess. Yeah. Because you're bored and because you refuse to use a PlayStation and not be bored. It's my fault that you're going to kill one of my friends. Use K. I mean, that's closer to some of the others, like Messy Cake or whatever the hell that was. I am powerless. So's the audience, which is why this isn't super interesting to watch, right? Like, there's no comparison between the two. And you're the one who's going to die. This would be an interesting character arc for him. It's like in the show Angel. The only true redemption is death. There is no redemption before that, right? So him sacrificing his life would be true redemption, which is a great character arc. Very few characters achieve that. Yep. Get crunk. I love that attitude, man. He's really grown on me. If this is the end for him, and it probably is, this is a great way to go out, man. Eat my justice. So he's super powerful and he can teleport, right? All he needs now is mind control or laser eyes. I would like to have seen him get at least one shot in, man. Damn. Let him get a hit. You're invulnerable. It wouldn't matter. Just let him get a hit, you dick. It was nice of him to let you have that long of a monologue rather than a coup de grace, right? But the whole purpose is to piss off Yusuke, so that's why you let him do that. Yep. Here we are, tapped in. And of course, Genkai suggested this, which means he'll never forgive her. Yeah, you should probably go after the pseudo girlfriend. This really is reminding me of Tomorrow Joe. If you've never seen Tomorrow Joe, there are so many similarities, which it came out in the 70s, right? So it could have definitely been an influence. It was a dark anime. You thought it was all fun and games and comedy. It really wasn't, man. Kind of like this. There's been a lot of comedy in this. But I still think the drama's the point, right? Like, from what I'm seeing here. Your teacher was responsible for that. If you're looking around for an asshole, like, I got a suggestion, I have a couple names I can recommend. Then do it. We'll see about that. Am I 100% convinced Kuwabara is dead? No. The question we have to ask ourselves is how evil is Genkai? Because it's an evil act to suggest what she suggested, knowing what would happen, even to get to the end is justified the means, right? We got to take the son bitch out, so this is what we have to do. It'd be akin to you need Jack Bauer to stop the terrorists, right? But he won't do that unless you kill his daughter. So you kill his daughter so he'll stop terrorists. Well, he stopped the terrorists. Congratulations. He did that. You still killed an innocent person. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's evil. Even if it ends up in a good result, an objectively good result, it's still an evil act. How evil do we think she is? That's the question I keep coming back to. We don't really know. Like, I'm assuming she's not evil. She could very well be. She could be as evil as this son bitch. She just happened to. Here's the thing. This is a problem in society in general, right? Society in general assumes, you and me, right? Like, I treat you well. Then you, as society, assumes that I'm a good person because I treated you well. What if you're the only person on earth I ever treated well and I treat everybody else like shit? Well, from your point of view, I'm a good person, right? Because I treated you well. Everybody else thinks I'm evil. And we all kind of do this, right? Like, as we go through life, especially you get to be my age, there's plenty of people think I'm a villain. There's plenty of people think I'm a hero. There's a lot of people think I'm somewhere in between. A lot of people think I'm an asshole. Just, we have bad days, bad moments, bad years, whatever, right? And the bullies in high school could have saved thousands of lives. They could have gone on to become neurosurgeons and save lives, and maybe they risked their life to save lives. I only know them as a bully. So I think that in my head, that person, even if I don't remember their name, which I promise you I don't, that person, the idea of that person is a bad person, right? But they could have lived the rest of their life like a saint, So that's what we're saying here. So my point in all this is, our experience with her has been neutral at worst, possibly positive, where up till this moment, because she's treating him like shit, and she's talking to him like shit, but we always understand that that's a mentor, mentee relationship. That's a sensei relationship, whatever the opposite of sensei is, student, I guess. We take that as a given, but maybe that could be like a larger thing. Veronica Mars did a great job. Great series if you've never seen it. They bring in a character early in the season, the first season, and they have him do something that's twisted, but the twisted thing was against somebody who was really bad, is a bad person, right? And so we cheered it, and we thought no more of it, because bad guy got what was coming to him, especially on a TV show. Maybe in real life it had been a little different, but in TV show, bad guy gets what's coming to him, we move on. Come to find out, that person was the big bad of the entire season, and it was right there early on. If we just looked at that objectively, and not looked at it like bad guy gets what's coming to him, but just looked at it like, wow, what this dude did was actually kind of messed up. Didn't think about it. It wasn't reframed until we realized he's a bad guy at the end of the season, right? Brilliantly done. And it just highlights the point I've always had, which is, just because you're cool with somebody, just because your interactions have been great, doesn't make them a good person. And the opposite is also true. Let's say our interactions are always negative. Doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make me a bad person, right? Like, it just means that we just blood and water, or oil and water, right? Sometimes things just don't click. But they could be a great person to everybody else. So like, maybe it's you in that situation. So, from what we've seen on screen, she's at least at worst a neutral person, probably a good person. But what if that's not true? What if just so happens she treated Yusuke and his friends okay? She came in and helped them, but maybe all that was to her own ends. She had an agenda here. She could be like a really truly evil person. She could be the big bad of the entire series, for all we know. We just hadn't seen that yet. We hadn't seen that side to her. It's about seeing the sides of people, right? You got to see more than one side to truly understand somebody. And it doesn't just have to be positive and negative. You can see one positive side, see another positive side, see a third positive side, and finally, okay, maybe now you've seen those three sides. that are all positive. Now you finally understand. I mean, you have to see more than one side to understand somebody. And we may have just gotten our eyes open, is what I'm saying. That is wild, man.